Now let's see, do we have a .md file? Yes sir, we have India holiday 2023.md. So now let's open this thing. Cool. Our agent is working. And on the 14th of January, we have Makar Sankranti, Pongal. Hey everyone, how are you all doing? I hope you guys are doing absolutely fine. Today we are going to build an AI agent in Rust. So yeah, it would not be a regular chat application. It would be an autonomous AI agent kind of thing that will kind of decide whether the task provided by the user has been completed or not. Okay, before directly coding, let's see some things over here, some concepts, some definitions. And yeah, one disclaimer over here is the agent that we are going to build is not a complete and end-to-end application. It will be an end-to-end application in terms of from our project, because we will give the input and we will see the output. But if you want to really like think of this thing to be production ready, then it's not. It's a simple agentic loop kind of thing that is pretty much basic, but it will give you an idea how to get started. All right, it will cover the concepts. All right, so let me just switch the scene so that you guys can see. I have a PDF over here that has some definitions, so I'll try to be quick on this definition because so that you guys cannot skip it. All right, okay, here we go. So what is an AI agent? A regular LLM like Claude or GPT just takes a prompt and returns a response. It's partially true, one shot and done. But an AI agent is different. It has an access to tools, the tools we provide. So we are going to see multiple things. So we are going to use Claude. So I must tell you, we are going to use Claude. You can have the API key that is required to use the Anthropic APIs. You have to pay a little amount of $5, that is 500 rupees, and you get a million token around. So that is pretty much enough to build and test. All right, so it has access to tools. Yes, it can take real actions, keep looping until the task is fully complete without you doing anything in between. Okay, so we'll give it a task, and that task will be feeded to the Anthropic APIs, and they return us the tools to use, and on the Rust we'll implement those tools and then send back the response to the Claude again. Okay, key idea is Claude is the brain. It tells us what to do and we are going to do what Claude tells us. Okay, tools are the actions that are dispatched to us and we are going to perform things around it. The loop is the engine. Basically the loop is the important part, the agent loop that we are going to build. For now it will be a simple loop, but again I'm telling you, it's not even that simple if you are going to implement or create an agent for a production system. The agent loop, what it does, it reads the input from the terminal, right? We will give something like this, sends to the Claude. Okay, the task plus the list of available tools to the Claude API. Claude picks a tool for us, it sends us back the tool that we have to use, and Rust executes that tool. Okay, again when we executes the tool sent by the Claude, we have some results, right? And then we have to send that result back to the Claude so that the Claude API can figure out whether it is the final answer or not. Okay, if it's a final answer, we are going to show it on the terminal. If it's not, we are going to loop until it's done. So that is the basic loop that we are going to implement. We will have a loop. Inside this, we will call the Claude API. We'll match the response. If it's a tool call, we are going to again execute the tool. And if it's a final text, we are going to print it and break the loop. We are going to define these tools. These are pretty much the tools that are enough for our case: read file, write file, read directory, run command, and fetch URL. Let's say you have a project and you want to say, okay, give me the summary of this thing. So you have to execute the read file. Write file would be if you want to create the summary out of those files. Read directly is like if you have a project and you want the Claude to like find to-dos, let's say, in all of the entire directory. So you need to have a read directory, and the efficient way is to read the directory recursively. So for that we'll use walk dir. It's a crate that we have used earlier in our project as well, when we were like trying to figure out if there is any malicious file in our directory. So we are going to use efficient way using a crate called walkdir. Run command if you want to execute some command. Again, we will have a kind of safety net over here so that we don't use RMRF kind of things. All right, fetch URL if you want to really go on the web and search. Okay, so the project structure would be, it's not necessary right now, but this will be the general idea. .env, we will have the Anthropic key. As I said, you have to fetch this key by paying a small amount of 500 rupees. Cargo.toml file where we will have all our dependency like the clap crate, walkdir crate, Tokyo crate, because we want to use the async runtime, and all these files over here. These are the things that we are going to use. Clap to parse CLI arguments, a request to call the API, third JSON, serialized deserialization, right? Tokyo for async runtime, colored if you want to show some pretty colors on the terminal, walkdir to just walk the directory recursively efficiently, and .env because we are going to store our key on the .env file because I don't want you to see my key. Okay, how to run, will this like figure it out. Cool, so we are done here. I hope you guys like got the idea what we are going to do. Yeah, so I have created this thing, and if I show you my toml file, these are the things that I have added. These are some features that I have added while installing these crates. For Tokyo we want version full, for CERD we want derive, for request we want JSON, and for the clap we want derive. Okay, let's go on main file. Okay, let's go on main file now. Let's see what we can do here. Let me just pull the browser. Okay, so this is what we are going to do. This is our system over here, as you can see, and this is the Claude API somewhere, right? We are going to send some request, we'll get some request. We are going to run an agentic loop over here so that in order to define whether the answer is a final answer or not. And something important over here that we are going to discuss while we build this thing, right? We have some requirements that are needed by the Claude API. One of them is the messages. So the messages array, so what does it do is Claude need to remember the messages it sends to you. So if I want to say, hey, how are you, so the tokens are the string that we have. So we have currently 4 words over here and 3 spaces. So we have 7 tokens now, right? So we have 7 tokens now. Now Claude, let's say Claude reverts us by saying, I am fine. So these are 5 tokens. Now, once again, when we want to reply again, like what's the time? So what Claude wants is, it wants us to send all the previous history that he has chatted to us in the API as well. So for that, we will have a messages array over here. And in that array, we have roles that we want to pass, and the content that is the actual JSON object over here. Okay, so the roles, there are 2 roles, a user and an assistant. A user will be us, assistant would be Claude. So we have to make sure that there are no 2 user for per assistant, right? So it would be like user to assistant, assistant to user, user to assistant, whatever Claude reverts to us. And when we try to push this in the messages array, we want to make sure that the role for that thing that Claude has reverted to us would be assistant, and whatever we want to ask or send to Claude, that would be user. Oh, this makes sense up to here. Okay, so now let's build this thing. So first of all, we need to parse some CLI arguments. For that, let's see how it goes. We are going to like build it and then print it basically. Let's start this thing. So let's first of all, we create a folder over here called CLI. Inside this directory, we are going to create a mode.rs file. I hope this is visible, right? Let me just increase the fonts. Yeah. Let's add Let's create another file over here called cli.rs, and over here we will have to define our CLI argument structure. So let's say I have something like this, right? So what do we need over here? We want our user to send us a task, right? And we want our user to send us model, but that's not necessary, right? And because we will have a default model over here that we will use haiku model for now, but when we kind of finish this development, we will use sonnet, a more smarter model. Okay. Okay, now what else do we need? We need a verbose flag, so that if the user want to see all the things like how the Claude is thinking, what it's returning, so that we can show it to him. Okay. Okay, now let's add this thing on the main file. Mode CLI. All right, let's go inside this thing and let's see how we can define. So you guys can check the CLI documentation. I mean the clap documentation for the things. That's what I'm going to do here. All right, so here I'll use some these things. I'll say short, long, and a default value over here that will be a haiku that we need to figure out. Let's say, let's search what the default would be. Default Cloud haiku model name. It would be something. Oops, we don't have our internet. Wow, crazy. Okay, so the default, it would be something like this, Claude haiku 45. So let's copy this thing and paste it over here. Import CLI parser from here. We'll say use clap parser, right? Derive parser. Okay, and for the verbose as well, I can say provide these things. You can check out the documentation for all these things, what I'm doing over here. Basically I'm just providing some benefits to the user, so that instead of writing the entire thing on the terminal, it can just give the short form as well. So for the model, it can say dash m. Okay, so the default value over here is Claude haiku. So if the user doesn't want to provide anything or just want to be simple, then we can use this default value for now. Okay, let's go on the main file. So how do we do that? I'll say let args equals we need CLI, right? CLI dot parse. Cool, we have parsed this. Now whatever we pass it from the terminal, we have these things over here. So let's see how it goes. Okay, I want all these things over here, right? I want args dot tasks. It's not tasks, it's task. Let's fix this thing here. I want to make this video like quick, because you know if I make it long, you might guys may drop off. So but if you really want to know how these things work, right, so you make sure you just stick up. And we have verbose. Okay, now let's see how it goes. Let's say cargo. How we are going to run this? We'll use this cargo run a dash dash, so that we can start our thing. For string, let's say I want to say, hey, print star pattern program in Python. No, in Rust. Okay, and if I want to pass in model, I will say model and like this, but the default value is there, so I won't be doing that. In fact, I will pass the verbose thing over here. Okay, now let's hit enter. Okay, did I forget to mention the string? Okay, it's going to take some time. Okay, we're waiting, Rust. Yeah. Oh, it says unexpected argument verbose. Do we have any issues? No, verbose. Do we need to pass this? Yep. See this. It says, hey, print. So this would be the thing that we have done. Is it? Oh, yeah. So this is the entire string. This is the task basically. Hey, print star pattern program in Rust, and this will be our model. That is the default that we decided, and the verbose is true. So I think the CLI parsing is going good. Now the important thing over here. Okay, now that we have CLI arguments, let's because we have the .env as well, so let's import that as well. So .env will do okay. Okay, now that we have arguments, we'll do something like this over here. I want to create a separate module for that, so that I can pass all these arguments and I can start like working. Right. What I'll do is, first of all, I have to make this async, right? Async. And when we are using this async, I want to add a macro over here that says Tokyo main. Now it will do the boilerplating to make this thing async, right? Because main cannot be async, but if you are using a runtime, then this thing handles it. Okay, so I have arguments now. I need to create a separate module so that I can pass in those arguments. Okay, let's do that. Over here, let's create another thing. What do we call it? Let's say process request. Okay, now let's create mode.rs over here. Process request. Let's create a file over here, request.rs. Let's create a struct. Process request, and what it needs the argument, right? So I'll say pub task box. Come on, it would be string pub model string pub verbose string, and what else do we need? URL. Yes sir, pub API URL, right? The URL that we are going to use from the cloud. Now extend this implementation, process request. Let's create a function over here that will return, of course, the self, and maybe I can pass in the some variables over here. Task model verbose, right? API URL will fetch it over here. So how do we fetch the API URL? For now, I can do this API URL. Maybe you guys can just put it this thing on the env file. So I'll do env. I think I'm heavily dependent on the on the suggestions now. So let me just add this thing on the main so that I can have it working. Env this thing. Come on. Okay, it returns a result and it returns variables. So let's do this. The key would be over here, that is Claude API that I have added, right? And no API key found, right? And now let's just return this thing from here. I have task, model, verbose, and API URL. Will that be okay? Okay. I am having some issues over here, and these mistakes are very silly. Okay. Okay. Task cannot find value. Okay, again. Oh god, it's task. Okay, so this thing is returned. So now let's see whether this works or not. So how do we call this thing over here? I'll say let process request equals process request new, and I'm going to pass all these things: task, model, and verbose, right? So this way I will have something over here. Process request does not implement debug. Of course we'll implement this debug because we are going to debug a lot over here. I want to just add all things at once over here. Oh man. Okay, found bool. Did we mess up? Yes, we did. And over here as well. All right, I hope this will now. Come on. Let's do a build. Okay, this is working. Cargo run. Hey there. So for now we'll just do this and we'll pass the verbose. What the heck I'm missing over here? Oh, this thing. Damn, this exclamation and double quotes, it's turned up to be empty space over here. Thread main panicked, no API key found, because we have to add the API URL. So this is how you can do, but for now I will just be using this thing. I can say something like anthropic.com/v1/messages, I think. Right, let's go hit it again, and yes, we have it. The struct that we defined, we have it. We have a task, we have a model, verbose, and API URL. Okay, now that we have initialized our the process request thing, now let's create another function that will do our actual thing. So that will be our core agentic loop over here, right? So let's create this thing. I'll say request LLM. Now it will return a result and the result would be, let's say, string for now, or maybe you know what, should we, because we need to debug right now, so I can do this. We are going to do something crazy. Not something crazy, I mean, so box din and an error from std. Right now, why I'm doing this, I have to make this async because this is, so if you want to see how, like, why did I do a box din on the return type over here, uh, I have explained it in a previous video, but what happens is, because the size of error, it could be dynamic, it could be anything, right? So that's why we use a din keyword, because error could be anything, and we want to put it on the box so that it can have a flexible uh, size over there. Okay, for the dynamic keyword, it tells the compiler that the size is not known currently, it will be known in runtime. Okay, so we have an issue here. Maybe we need to push this thing under the, we have it inside the impl block, right? Then what is the issue? Nothing. Okay, so let's satisfy this thing for now. I'll just use format. Okay. Oh, I forgot. Okay. Okay, so here's the thing. Now we'll use a safety net over here as well, because see, as I already told, over here, that this will be our loop, that agentic core agentic loop, right? But loops come with the problem. There was a recent problem that we have seen in the outage of Claude, that it was due to some desktop app, maybe due to the daylight saving, the loop was like running infinity, so the Claude was out that time. It's not about the Claude, but it's a general thing that if you are running loop, you should have some breakpoints, right? And what's better than to like prevent the loop would be to use a flag that tells the loop that okay, enough is enough, now it's time to break. So for that, we'll use something like called loop count. For now it will be 0 and it will be updated, so I'll have to make sure it is mutable. Okay, and I want something called max loops allowed kind of thing. Let's say I want only 10 loops. Okay, so here it will be something like this, loop, and I'll make sure that the loop count gets an increment over here, right? And maybe we can just say if the loop count is greater than max loops, maybe I want to just return it from here, right? I want to return I want to I want to return an error from here that says loop limit breached, right? Can I do that? Yes sir. Oh, okay, let's do an into. Okay, so yes, this is the safety net that we have used it over here. We have a loop count, and maybe I can have a mutable final answer kind of thing over here. Right, yes. So what else can we have it here? So inside this we have to call our, basically call Claude. So we have to call Claude from here. For that we have to create a module where we will have all our Claude definitions, right? Like creating that body for the API request. We are going to pass the messages onto that thing, right? So let's do that. We have our API URL as well, so because we are going to use all these things, like model, task, verbose and all, so we can have this thing over here so that we can access it. We are not going to modify any of the constructor variables, so I'm not going to make it mutable. We only want to read it, right? So we are going to call the Claude from here. It would be something like let response equal to call Claude, something like Claude, something like that, and we'll have to do like this. And maybe we can just print the response over here. Response. Now is it response? So let's shift this thing up. Why I'm printing this thing? Because we'll kind of, you know, create a model for each of the request, right? We want to see what Claude returns us, so that we can create a model, and each time we can just serialize that thing directly into JSON, right? So we'll create some struct. Yeah, a lot more things going up. So we want to create a call Claude over here, and inside this I'm going to pass self dot task, self dot task I'm going to pass, and I'm going to pass self dot model, and I'm going to pass what else, messages. For that I have to create messages, so let's create this thing. So I'll say let mute messages. Why I'm making it mutable, I already told. Let me just show you that we need these messages to be sent to the Claude again and again, right? So whatever Claude sends us, we need to push it. Whatever we try to figure it out, we perform those tools that Claude returns at, we also need to send those results back to the Claude, right? So it needs to be mutable. It needs to be an array of values, necessarily not be an string, but for now let's say it's a string. For now let's say it's a string, but it's going to be an object, so we'll use search JSON's a value thing, right? So yeah, messages, so it would be something like this. Maybe let's try to be simple for now. We'll create messages, right? So it will have a role that will be user, because we are going to send it, right? And we want to have content, and for now the content would be self dot task, right? So the messages would look something like this. Now we need to create this thing, so maybe we can create something over here. Let's say utils, and over here let's create mode.rs. Tools utils. Let's create utils.rs. Messages. We need we need a role string. We need content. For now we are using string. Definitely we need to make it a value. Okay, a JSON object would be there. Okay, this makes sense. File is not concluded. Okay. Mode utils. Okay, messages. Now let's import this thing over here. Make sense? No, no sir, this has to be a function. Okay, uh here we have our messages, right? I forgot something that. Okay, so this is our messages vector that will be used whenever we get anything. Okay, so this code is unreachable. Any code from this expression is unreachable because yeah, for now I'm not going to loop it 10 times. I'll just loop it once so that we can see what is going on there, right? Now let's create call Claude, this function. This function, no. Okay, again we can have something over here, Claude mode.rs, Claude what the heck, mode.rs. Well, it's already there. Okay. Let's create public async function call Claude, and we have tasks task, and we have model, and we have verbos. No sir, not verbos. We have API URL, and it's going to return a result. Let me just add it because I am heavily dependent on the IntelliSense over here. Mode Claude. This way this gets added, and the okay, string for now, and the error would be standard error. Okay, now we want a client. We'll use request client. So we'll use a request to call the API. Let's reduce some errors. Okay, so I want to call the API using request. So how it will look like? It will look like something like this: client dot post, right? We have the API URL over here, and we'll have some header like that, and some other header like that, and some more header like that, and then maybe we can have the body over here that will create something on the top, right? Like this. Let body equals JSON, and we'll have something like this, right? On the body we'll define few things. So we'll going to pass this thing over here, and then maybe send and await, right? And if I am lucky enough, I'll get a response from here, and then from here I can just say if response dot status what dot status dot is success. If not, if it's an error, I'm going to return something from here. I'm going to return error occurred, right? Maybe a response into, right? I'm going to return this thing from here. And if it's not, what I'm going to do, if it's not, then I'll say let parsed text. So I'm just let me complete this thing first. Response dot text dot await, and then I can just return the parsed text from here. Okay, so on this line number 22, currently I'm just like getting the text out of the response, right? But we'll not do that. We'll do something, so that's why I said ki we need to see text how it looks like, so that we can create our model. And maybe we can do something like this, let's say JSON, and maybe we can we can do something like Claude response, the model that we create, so that it gets parsed to that thing, and we can use this thing just to match things, because we need to perform some tools as well, right? So for now, let's just do this. Okay, headers now. Well, here's the thing. Let's go over here, and Anthropic API request sample. Few things that I know that we need uh, something like content type as application JSON, and maybe we need something like X API key. That way we'll use our API key over here. So that means we need to use API key as well over here. All right, and maybe we can have something. So let's see how it goes. Oh, okay, got it. This thing, let's copy this thing quickly, silently, no one sees us. Okay, so XAPI key, content type, Anthropic version, content type access, and the body we will have these things. Amazing. We need to have a model over here that we have already. What else do we need? Max tokens. Let's call it this thing for now. Messages. We already have that thing. What do you say? Didn't I? Oh my god. MESSA GS. Right? So I can just use this thing over here. Okay. Oh, serialize. Okay, let's perform these things over here. Okay, serialize, deserialize, debug, whatever we need in a single thing. Okay, so body's here, and what does it says? Expected coma. What? Oh, it just like gave us the simple as well. Yeah, see, this is what I was saying, the role assistant that we got. So the Claude will send us the role assistant, and it will send us something like this content block. And this content block is an array that has a type and a text. All right, so we are going to pass some tools from here, right? So that we don't get this type, we will get a tool type, right? If the tool type would be null, then that means it's the final answer. Okay, but let's now do that. uh, are we doing something? Maybe we can just say using request Anthropic API model. Okay, this is what we, oh, it's not this, basically it's a comma. Oh, so it was telling us, right, to use comma. Okay, so task is this thing. Why did I send a task? Task is already in the model, right? In the messages, so we need to update few things. Okay, yeah, so this will be our call Claude function that we are going to use on the process request. Let's call this thing call Claude. I don't want to pass this thing. I'll just pass a model and a API URL, self dot API URL, and a key. Now where did I get the key? Key would be from oh, that's so foolish of me. We need a key over here. So API key, we need a key over here, so I'll say API key and messages. It says okay. Oh yeah, I got it. It's not basically a messages, it's a vector of messages. That will be done now, I guess. We'll build it. Cannot move out of cell behind the shade. Content variable does not need to be mutable. Okay, this makes sense. Cannot move out of self.task, which is behind shared reference. Move occurred because self.task. So let's make this thing. Okay, so JSON value, right? Let's go over here, then wrap it around JSON macro. Okay, this is done. It says unreachable expression. Maybe we can return the response from here. So I won't be doing anything, right? I'll check the response over here. So we'll get something like this, like it's already there, right? API overview over here. We need this. So this is the documentation. Messages like role, user, content, Cloud Opus. We are not going to use this. We are going to use Haiku. Probably we'll use Opus when we have everything built, so that I can have more intelligent thing on the demo. Okay, rate limits already, so you can check this out, this thing. That will be our response, a content block. So maybe we can do this, or maybe we can just hit the API and see what it does, right? So let's see how this goes. We'll see the response in some time. Maybe over here I can say I am thinking like this, and let me just add the emoji brain, and I have added the colored crate as well, right? So I can say bright yellow, right? And over here on the response, let's not do it right now. Okay, can we do it? I'm just checking. Yes. Okay, that means we can do it like that as well. Okay, now let's see how it goes. Okay, so we have created a Claude call. We have this loop over here. For now I'm just hitting the max loop at once so that it runs only once. And cargo run. For now I'll simply say hello there. Okay, I mean, yeah, let's see how it goes. What do we get? Building. Process request is hello there. Did it not get called? What is happening? Okay, I think it just I need to call it as well, dummy. So process request dot request llm dot await, because it's like kind of returning a result, right? So we can just do match over here, and if it's okay, I can just simply do this. If it's an error, I can just print println an error occurred, right? Error occurred. Over here I can have this thing e dot red. I can use dot red. Okay, that's fine. So yeah, we have called this thing. Now let's see how it goes. Okay, thread panicked. API key not no API key found, not present. Let's see inside the request LLM Claude API. Would it be Claude key? Let's hit it again. Okay, I am thinking. Cool. Okay. Oh my god. Error occurred. 404. Okay, that means our API URL is wrong. So that means it works, right? It goes, I'm thinking, and then error occurred and all of this thing. So let's see what the URL is. It is this api.anthropic. And what did we use? We use Anthropic. So let's change this thing. And let's do it again. I'm thinking. Error occurred. Something is crazy. something going on is bad. Okay, so now we have 400. That means there is something issue related to this thing called Claude. Model API URL API key. Model API URL API key and messages. Model next open messages. Inside this messages I have a role and a content, right? Maybe I can just I'm just trying. Okay, let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. Come on. Again, 400. So this is not the issue. Let's see. So let's see the actual error over here. So maybe I can say let error text is equal to response dot text dot await, right? And maybe I can just pass in the let's see. Error occurred, invalid request, max token field required. Oh, max tokens field required. Oh, it's not max tokens. Basically, it's an underscore. I'm thinking. All right, we got this thing. Model, Claude, this, blah, blah, blah. ID, and this. Okay. I want to see it beautifully. Maybe I can instead of, okay, I'm not returning anything, right? I have to do it over here. Anyways, this is what we get. So we have this text over here and the content block, right? The content block that has a type text, okay, and this thing, the text returned by the Claude that we have is hey, how it is going, what can I help you today? All right, now let's go ahead and all these things. And so we know that we have a content block that's already written in the documents as well. We have the content block. Now we need to pass in create a message count token. That's okay. Skills, maybe I'm just thinking if I can get it over here. Tools used with Claude. Yeah, I need tools. Okay, name, description, input, schema. Now this is what we need. So whenever we kind of create a message, we create a request, single tool. Amazing. This is what we need. So we need to pass in the tools over here as well, right? So tools will be an array, and we have to make sure that we stick by this schema, that a name, for the name we will use a read file. For description we'll use a simple text like you need to read the file on this location. Input schema, type, object, properties, we will be using a path over here, property, right? The type would be strict, and on the required type tag we will just use path. Okay, so we have to make sure that we stick with this schema and we define all those things that we have already discussed over here, all these things. So we need an object, we need an array that has all these object with the format strictly matching to this thing. So it is a requirement from the API. So what I'll get on the response, I'll get this thing, tool use type. So we need to make sure the tools that we will use, we need to map it so that we can create or match it with those things and perform operation on the Rust side, right? So excellent, this is excellent. We already have this thing on the documentation, and yeah, we'll use this thing. So we have a type with the ID, name and input. Amazing. So we need all these three things, right? ID, name and input. This input will be a JSON object, this is right. So the input we can use value, the name would be string, the ID would be string, and the type that we are going to use would be tool use. So there are two types that are being returned when we pass the type to the API, that is a type of text and the type of tool use. So I need to create an enum on these two things so that I can match it from the API response, right? So there are two things that I'm getting. One is the type text and one is the type tool use. So if I don't get the tool use, that means it's the final answer because I have already get the text, and Claude suggests that there is no tool to be used. For example, let's say I say hi. So the Claude won't use read file, right? It will just simply return text with this object absent on this array. So that means this is the final answer. The Claude is saying, hey, how are you, right? It's not reverting us back the tools for that as well. So again, we have to define this. Let's do this thing first of all. Let's do this thing. It's over here, right? On the max token tools. So let's go on the call Claude. We can use tools over here, right? And I will have a function that fetches the tool for me, right? And also I'm going to use something for default information to the Claude, that is I'm going to use a system over here. Okay, I'll say you are an autonomous agent that uses tools to perform a task, right? Then I'll say once once you are done with the task, provide a clear summary. Okay, and I'll say do not use any more tools once you finished a task, right? Otherwise what will happen, if I say hi, how are you, then if I don't use this thing, or maybe then Claude, Claude will suggest something like he will say, hey, want me to read a file for you? So it will return a tool back to us. Then if I say yes, then it will again perform something. So I'm suggesting that once you have a clear answer, just don't return me the tools, don't use any more tools, right? So it's a default thing. So now this system thing that I'm passing, this way the Claude will remember what its sole purpose is. So whenever I say, hey Claude, who are you, tell me something about yourself, it's going to do something with this. It will say, hey, I'm an autonomous agent, I just use tools to perform tasks and blah blah blah, all the thing that we have done, right? Let's get into this thing. Let's call this function get Claude tools. Maybe I can create it on the top. Yeah, I can do it over here. I'll say async get Claude tools. it's not async, it's just a function. It's need not to be public because it's going to be used over here. It is going to return us the vector of JSON value, right? You know what, it is going to return us the vector of value. So it is going to say JSON. Even it's not a vector, basically I can create that thing. It's going to return us just the value. Okay, over here I'm going to use these things like this. Okay, missing tokens. I missed something. Yeah, so instead of this thing I'll use a read file like that. Description would be read the file from a location. Oh, spider location want me yeah, something like that. So we'll have to define all these things. So read file is one, we have to define write file, we have to define read command, fetch URL and all, something like that. So let's do that. It's kind of a tedious job, but we have to do this, right? Okay, so here is the complete get Claude tools function. So let me just go through it. I have created a read file. So you have to make sure that this follows this schema, right? So we have a read file, a description, input schema, type object, properties, path, type, description. The required thing is path. Path is required over here. On the write file as well, the description would be this, and read directory, the same goes for read directory. Run command, we have to do again the same thing, and the fetch URL as well. And we already have added this function over here, right? Get Claude tools. So I think we are done here, because we have defined the tools, we have defined what an agent has to do, max token model and everything, and we have, okay, amazing. Now let's see this thing. So whenever we send the tools to the Claude, it is going to send us these two things on the content block, right? So let's make the model out of it so that we can map it over here. Okay, so let's say pub struct llm response. Okay, so either we can do it here, or maybe just pass it on the utils. That would be better. Let's go over here. So we already have this thing, right? uh okay, let's create this thing. Derive debug, of course, and serialize, deserialize, and pub struct llm response. So on the llm response, we'll have the content block, right? So we have id, model, stop, reason, role. So either we do all these things. Okay, so let's do this then. Pub id, it would be string. We have model, so pub model, we have string. We have stop reason, so pub stop reason would be a string. Role would be a string. Now we have a content block, so I'll say pub content, right? So it would be content block, right? So we have to define the content block as well. So let me just copy this thing so that I don't have to do few obvious things. So here what I'll do, I'm making sure that it's an enum. Why? Because whatever tools I get, I need to match on those tools so that I can perform either it's a read file, write file, things like that, right? I want to run a command or I want to fetch a URL, just for that. So I'll make sure that it's an enum so that I can match on those things. So yeah, let's do that. So as you can see, I'm getting these two types. One type is tool use and one type is text. So how do I do that? Because see, if I use a type over here, then type, I think it's a reserved word. So I'll have to use third replace thing. So maybe I can use something like tool use enum, right? Inside this, I'll have ID. It's an string. I will have name. It's an string. And here I will have input. Input is an object, so maybe a value, right? And the same goes for the text as well, right? So one thing I got over here is this text. So on this thing, I'll have text as a string, right? And now I need to use so that because I will get something like this, right? Tool use and something like text. Okay, I need to make sure that it matched and like serialized to a proper thing over here. So rename, I think this is it, right? Tool use, I'm not sure, to check. Rename, how do I do that? Third rename tag attribute and enums or struct. Okay, third rename all. Okay, so maybe I'll not use rename all, I'll just say third rename. Same goes for this as well. Okay, content block is never used, that is fine. This is what I get, right? Content is the content block. Let's see it again. Are we missing something? Content is, so okay, ID model stop region role, that's what we did. ID model stop region role. The content is content block. We'll use enum for that so that we can match on these things, right? Oh, it's an array. Okay, okay, now okay, this is good. So our thing is done. This is our response whenever we use tools. So we have kind of mapped it over there, and the tools that we provided is like this. We already did that. Messages, we are going to do it on the function where we have our loop, right? We are going to keep pushing on this thing. So this is what I was saying. Over here I said that there are two roles, user and assistant, right? On the documentation you can see the role is user. What is the weather like in San Francisco? Because I am the user, I want to ask a question, so the role will be user. Now what the API respond back is with the role assistant. So I'll have to make sure that I keep pushing all those things into a message, and I want to pass those things to the API next time when I just ask a follow-up question, so that clause knows what's going on, right? It has a requirement. The API requirement is like this. I'm not doing this by my own. API wants me to do it. Process request. Okay, few things to be changed over here. It says variable need not to be mutable. What's this? Expected string found value. What the heck are you doing, Muddy? Okay, it's done now. It needs not to be mutable. Are you kidding me? We are going to make it mutable. Okay. Let's not do this. Okay. Okay. Now we have our response over here, right? Now let's do the important things over here. First of all, I need to collect the response. I need to make sure what Claude want me to do. Does it like send me the tools? And if it does send me the tools, I want to perform those things on the Rust, right? So I need to write the operations for all those 5-6 tools that we have passed. So let's do that. So what can we do here? I will get the tools, right? Maybe I can get multiple tools. What do you think? If I want to ask Claude that, hey, read my entire thing, read my entire project, and create a summary file out of it. So it will send me two tools. First of all, it will just send me a read directory tool so that I can read the directory, and then I'll send back that results to that thing to the Claude, and then it will send again me. Okay, so it's only once, but again, let's see. What we need to do now that we have response, we have everything set up, like models, we have like kind of created the enums around those. Now we need to have tools that we have, because once we have the tools, I need to run those tools according to the function that I will create for read file, write file, URL, command, and all those things. And then I need their responses as well, because I need to send the responses back to the Claude API as well. So what I'll do, I'll just collect all the tools that Claude gives me. I'll say let tool use, it would be a vector of a string and a value. This could be an overwhelming feeling right now, but I'll just tell you what's is this for, right? See, I need to collect this thing, and the tool use that I have created, it has three things. The tool that I have created, it has three things. It has ID, name, and input. You see this thing, I'm just passing it, right? You would need to execute. Okay, so this is what I need to pass it, right? So I have to pass all the tools and their results and the messages that I got, okay, to the Claude. So that is why I'm just collecting the tools over here, and once I collect all those tools, I can get their results as well, because I need to send the results back to the Claude as well. Okay, so the tool use, I'll run a loop on this and just perform the things based on the things I get. Okay, so I have created a content block, right, that has a string and a value, following this model, because ID, name, and input. So ID would be string, name would be string, and the input will be a JSON value. So that's what I did, a string value and new. Okay, so I need to collect those things in this. So for this, what I'll do, I'll say for block in response dot content, right? This content over here, this content, it has this tool called use and type text, all these object, right? So I'll have to use this, and yeah, right. Response dot content. Okay, why I'm not getting this? Because now that I have created all those things, I need to make sure that it gets mapped to the correct thing, right? So the past text is not going to be returned from here now. Instead, it will be LLM response it would be response.json, right? And it would be parsed to llm response dot await, right? And over here I can just pass the llm response. Now I can see the content over there. Yeah. That is why maybe I need to build it. I know this works, but llm response. Okay, now here's the thing, I need to change this thing as well. The result is not would be the string now, it would be llm response. Amazing. I have the content now. If I go inside the content, I can see this thing, content block. Okay. Now the content block is already an enum. So what I'll do, I'll just use a match over here, and I'll say match block, right? And if the block is of type tool use, right, then what I'll do, I'll just simply say tool used tool use dot push block dot id. You know what, oh, I have it, right? id dot clone. What else do we have? Name dot clone and input dot clone, right? Takes one argument. Tool use dot push this I can do. Okay, now second thing, just in case if I get a text back, then I'll have to maybe I can just say like final answer would be text dot clone. Will that make sense? Cannot borrow. Okay, I have to make this mutable. Okay, now the important thing over here, I'll just use another check over here. I'll say uh, uh, if tool use dot is empty, then I'll have to return it from here. Maybe I can just break it, right? So I can say return final answer, right? I'm just returning it from here, and instead of just now empty this thing, I'll just return a string from here. La 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 la. Okay. I have to wrap this thing on this. Make sense? I hope. So this is what I'm doing. I'm just collecting all these things on the tool use so that I can run a loop on it, and I get the result. I'll push those things on the messages because that result has to be sent to the Claude as well, right? So that entire thing has to be sent to Claude. It's an API requirement. Okay. Tool use, I have it over here. Now what I'll do, let's create the assistant messages, whatever it sends us to, whatever Claude sends us. Let's create this thing over here as well. Okay, because we need to send it back once we run the loop. So we already have this messages object over here, right? A mutable messages. So we will keep pushing on this thing, but we'll change the role over here. So whatever Claude sends us, we'll use the role assistant. Otherwise we'll just use this thing, a user. Maybe there are two roles only, so maybe you can create an enum out of it, so that either it's a user or a, you know, assistant. Yeah, so let's do this thing. So let's start creating assistant messages, or let's say previous messages or responses history, so that I can send back to, so that I can send it back to the Claude API. Okay. Let's go on the documentation. You see, when I send the content back to the user, the previous content, I have to like again serialize it into this JSON object. So I have to use the type on tool use, the type on text, the text that I already have it, right? The ID and all. So I can say let assistant messages, it would be a vector of values, right? Because we are going to vector of value, right? Because we are going to serialize this thing again to a JSON string. Okay, so I'll say response dot content dot iter dot map block. I'll have it, right? So I can say match block. If I have the content block of tool use, see how enum is helping us. Otherwise we will have to like hard code everything over here, like content dot tool use dot this and blah blah and this, and that is quite error prone, right? Because and this like increase the development time, because it's also error prone. So that is why we use the models, so that I can just serialize and deserialize those response back to the model, and I can use the model over here, and I created an enum so that I can keep matching on those things. So if I want do this, I have to just do it like the other way around, right? Like content dot type dot tool use, if the type is to, so multiple if else condition basically. So I avoided that by using match and creating an enum out of it. Okay, so if it's this, then oh, see, if it's this, then what I'll do, I'll say, you know what, assistant messages, I'll have to be giving it back, right? So yeah, I have to like send it back. So map needs us to return us something, right? So what I'll do, I'll serialize this thing again by using JSON, and let's take help of the documentation over here. It says type tool use, so maybe we can copy this thing. uh it all, it needs an id. Oh, id, we already have that id. It needs a name, we have the name already, and it needs an input, right? So we have the input as well. Missing arm for text, okay, that's all right. So you see how I'm doing this thing, I have to use semicolon over here, otherwise it thinks that it will return from this function. That's okay. So now let's use the second thing over here, content text. I'll simply again, oops, I've simply again used this thing. Let's see over here, what else do we have? We have type text, so let's copy this thing. See how I'm like kind of creating a JSON string again, this object again, and we have a text over here. We already have text. Okay, it says vector of, what the heck is this? Am I missing something? Okay, I have to collect it as well. Okay, So now I have the assistant messages. I need to send those back again. So what I'll do, I'll just push it again on the messages. I'll say messages dot push, right? What I'll do, messages, and the role over here, what I'll do, sorry, assistant. Let's copy this thing, assistant. No, I only need this thing, assistant. I hope I didn't misspelled it. The content is assistant messages. Oh, it's a vector, so maybe I can just JSON it. Okay, it needs a string, so I hope you understand why I'm doing this thing. I am just collecting whatever the API gave me because I need to send it back, right? So this function is doing nothing. Okay, this function is just mapping on the content that I got, because content is, I'm getting an array. Okay, and I'm just iterating on it. I'm just creating a raw JSON object out of it, right? So first thing what I did, I kind of deserialize it into a model that we have created. Okay, now I'm again serializing it because I need to send it back to the cloud. So this is what it's doing. It's nothing very fancy going on over here, and I'm just pushing it to the messages so that the loop when runs again and calls back the call cloud function, the messages would have the updated things, right? So let me just put this thing over here. Now what I need something important over here. Now I need the tools result that I need to send back again. So I will process those results. I will run the loop on the tool uses object. I'll create an enum where I'll have all those 5-6 tools. I'll match it, perform the operation according to that thing, and then whatever result I get, I will again create another message and I will create another push on it. But this time the role will be user because I ran it on our tool, right? So yeah, let's do that. I'll say let tool result results, basically it will be a vector of value, right? And let's initialize this thing. Now I have to run the loop on the tool use array, the vector that I created, right? So I'll say for tool in tool use, you know what, maybe we can just simply do this. We have id, name, and input, right? And tool use, will that be a proper word? I'm very bad at nomenclature. Maybe we can just call it tool call. Tool call. We have to update this thing as well. Tool call. We have to update this as well. Tool call. Man, why I'm doing this manually? I can just use some things, right? Percentile s, something like that. Okay, tool call. Yeah. So yeah, let's do this thing. Unused variable input, that's okay. Now you must be wondering, we haven't used verbose, right? Let's do that. So if self, it's nothing, right? It's nothing, it's just a simple thing, a flag, that if it's a verbose, then we have to, do that thing. Otherwise we can simply, if it's a verbose, then we have to say like this, println, uh, you know things like that, this. Maybe I can just say id, name, input. If it's a verbose, then I want to show the user that, okay, uh, whatever Claude is responding, would you like to see or not? Okay, I have just misspelled println. And if it's not, then I can simply show uh, mm, like this, maybe input, or maybe a name over here. If it's a tool call, maybe we can just simply say tool input, tool name, tool ID, right? And maybe I can just say tool name over here. And maybe I can just let's use an emoji over here. Tool. Let's use this thing. Um, bright. Can I use this? Can I use this thing over here, right? Dot bright yellow. Will that look good? I don't know. Let's see. So yeah. Let's do something over here as well. Let's make it fancy kind of thing. So I'll just update this thing. Tool ID, right? So maybe we can use something like that. So I have tool, a tool name, and a tool input, right? And this thing. Okay. So this is how verbose work, right? It's nothing, it's a simple flag. If it's verbose, then I want the user to see, or the user maybe, want to see things going on. Otherwise we can just show him the tool name. So okay, okay, this function over here, right? Now let's work on the real thing. Tool results I want, right? I need to push the item returned from the functions on the tool results so that I can send it again to the Claude. Okay. So what I'll say let uh, result will be maybe we can create another function called execute, and inside this I can pass the tool ID, tool name, and tool input, right? I can just pass it there. So I need to create this function execute, and once I have this thing, then I will have to again do something like this: messages dot push messages. The role would be again user over here, and the content would be a JSON tool results, right? And whatever I okay, and whatever I get the result over here, what I'll do, I'll just simply say tool uh, results dot push result, right? It's in a loop, right? So it will execute one by one on the tool call, and I want it to push on the tool result. And once this is done, actually I just wrote it on the wrong way, and I have to use it after the loop. And once it over here, I will just simply just push it on the messages, and this has to be gone as well. Tool result has to be pushed like this. Maybe let's check the documentation how the tool results has to be pushed. It has a type. Tool results, tool use. So okay, this is it. Type will be tool result, tool use ID, and the content. Okay, so you know what, let's copy this thing. Type would be this. Push. Okay, it's a vector, right? So maybe I can just use, JavaScript memories just kick in sometimes. Tool use ID. I have the tool ID over here, and we have the content, and the content would be a result. Oh, what is that? What is that? What is that? Come on now, let's format. Cannot find execution. Okay, that's one. Yeah, you see what I did? I just get this result from the execute that I'm going to create. Okay, then again I created an object by watching this document. You see, content 15 degrees. So what this response is about? So it's a request, and this is the response what Claude already sent it to the user. So user asked for what is the uh, temperature, right, in San Francisco. So the message from the assistant was, I will check the weather in San Francisco for you. So the what Claude wants is, it wants the entire message history to be sent in an API request, so that it knows what, like, it's a requirement. Okay, and again the result is also being sent to the request. Okay, so that's what we did. We just passing the result as well, whatever tools we execute. Okay, so it has a special or specific format over here that you can see. I'm just using it from the documentation over here, platform API docs. Now I'll have to create this thing again. I can just use verbose over here, so we can do something like this over here. If the result is greater than 150, then we want to show only the 100 or 150 words. 150 is very not 10, maybe 100 words, right? Now let's do the important thing over here. We have this thing, right? I think we have executed all of these things, but we want to create our function execute over here. So let's do that. Let's go over here, and over here maybe we can create another directory called tools, and inside this we can just create mod.rs. And over here tools.rs. So let's start with this thing, public function execute, right? And it returns let's just define this function first. We'll see how it goes. Maybe it could return something. So we'll do something like this. Execute will receive ID that is of type string, a name of type string, and an input of type string. We may want, like, then we can perform name on the name, match on the name. So we can have something like, I mean, we can just have it like this. Maybe we don't need an ID or something, or maybe we don't need, I guess. Yeah, we only need name. But do we need an input? Let's see how it goes. What's in the input? Let's go on the top. Input. Let's see some tools. How to implement tool use. Code execution tool, memory tool, bash tool. So all these are tools that you can define on the request. Okay, let's see something. Okay, I will get required location input. Okay, I want to see the response. I want to see the response. So there is a beautiful documentation that you can see. Okay, input. We have the location. Okay, we need the input, right? That's why on the input we will have our path or command or something like that, right? That's what we define on the on our on the tool object that we created, right? So for the read file and something, we'll have the path over here, right? And for the command, we will have the command over here that we need to execute on our system. And for the search URL, we will have the URL that request will search. Okay. Yes. So I don't think we need an ID. Do we need an ID? No. I think we need a name and an input. Or maybe, I don't know. Let's see. So we'll have something like this over here, read file. And based on that, I will call a read file function, right? And yeah, we are going to pass the input. The input is not a string basically. It would be a value. Okay. And let's add it on the main. Incompatible type found this. What is that? Okay, let's not let's focus on this thing. Okay, this value has to be like this. Let's see, expression has type this. Let's remove this ID. This is not async. So maybe we can create an async function to this. To this, a fetch URL would be await, of course. And other than that, if I get anything, then I can simply just, print. I can just say print. I'm just handling the cases over here. I'll just say no tools available. Right? Cannot find this and execute exists, but it's inaccessible. So yeah. Okay. Now let's create the read file, write file, and all those functions. Okay. So let's create those functions. All right. Yeah. So I forgot to make them public. Yeah. So we have written all these functions, right? I'll just get into it. What I did. It's pretty simple. Nothing very much fancy going on here. So let's start from the bottom. This fetch URL, if I want to search something, then API will just send back me the fetch URL tool, right? So on that, I'm just using a request client to search on that URL and send the response back. Okay, that's it, nothing much. So here is the run command thing that is important. So I have blocked all these things that I discussed on the very first of the video, that like all these things, special characters or any things that are dangerous. So I blocked it. I won't run them. Only these things like ls, sh, something like that. Okay. And this part is very important. Read directory. Directory reading recursively, I'm using walkdir, as I already told. So this is the functions. that you can like follow up on the walkthroughs documentation. Pretty simple, nothing much over here. Okay, just reading it. I'm just skipping the dot files, right? Dot files and target file, because target file, like, it would take an eternity to just read on all the files, and dot files are kind of secure files, like our .env or other files, right, that have secrets. So I don't want to be displayed on the terminal. So yeah, nothing is fancy over here. Write file is just creating a file on the given path. Read file is simple, just reading a file on the path. Okay, so all these functions I have. Let's go on this thing, process request. So now it's time to fetch execute. Is it? No. Okay, maybe I can just, I guess, the no client attached. So yeah, let's just call this tool again, execute function. I hope this thing, okay, tool ID, I don't want to send. Tool name, I will definitely send this thing, and the tool input is basically a value. So this is done. Okay, this is the future, right? So maybe I will just await it over here. Okay, okay. Okay, it says no method name length found for the unit type. Okay, result doesn't return anything from here right now. So let's go and update things over here. If I go inside execute, so I'll have to just return a string from here. And few things I have to update it. Okay. And println, maybe return back the format from here. Now we are all set. So I think we will get our thing here as well. Expect, okay, that is fine. Tool results, cannot borrow tool result as mutable. So maybe tool result has to be mutable. Okay, and it's all done. Okay, so are we okay? So this is, and I think we are done here, right? Let's go through it. Maybe are we missing? Okay, let's increase this thing to 10 now. Yeah, 10 loops at max. Maybe after the finish of the loop, maybe I can just, because the loop will restart again, maybe I can just add it on the bottom as well. Over here. So again, it's an unreachable statement. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so let's just review previous message history. Yeah, we created. Okay, now let's see how it goes. Cargo build. Match arms has incompatible types. Okay, on the main file it is just messing with us, right? Okay, wait, this has to be of type string. So maybe we can just, I can maybe just say response res, I don't know. Yep, I can say that. Yeah, let's do it now. Cargo run. Now I'll say something over here. Let's say, hello Claude, hello agent, Tell me about yourself. And I want it to be verbose. Okay, cross your fingers. Let's see what happens. uh Let me just see if you guys can see it. Maybe I can just increase the fonts. Yeah, I think this is good. An error occurred. Error decoding response body. Error decoding response body. Where did the error occurred? Let's see it again. Cargo. Hey, agent, tell me about yourself. Okay, I'm thinking. An error occurred. Error decoding response body. So this is the error over here on the request LLM. Error decoding response body. The response is, I think, over here, right? What else do we have here? What are we missing? Response JSON LLM response. Okay, so maybe let's do this thing instead of this. Now let's see what happens. Hey agent, tell me about yourself. Don't crap now. Error decoding response body. Response body. Maybe it could be possible that something is not coming. Maybe role, I don't know. ID model stop reason, there is no reason to come. I think role should not come back. I don't know. Let's see. It's hitting in trial. I'm just doing a hit and try over here. So well, that's painful. Okay, decoding response object, right? This is what it says, decoding response body. So we have something issue in this model only. Content block, that's pretty straightforward, right? ID model content block. Let's see this thing. Maybe I can just search over here, content. Type, content type. Oh, type. Is it type? Type text. Type. Oh, okay. Oh, I got it now. Type would be text and the type would be tool use. So basically, I don't know. Let's see. Maybe we need to just check something as well. Maybe over here I can see something. Come on now. How to implement tool use. Type. Come on, give me the response. Token. Type. Got it. So I think type is the one that I have to map over here, right? Either the type is text or the type is tool use. So I have to use the tag type over here. I hope this solves it. Let's run again. I'm thinking. Amazing, amazing. I think I'm getting it. Yes. Response. Let's remove this thing. This is making this thing ugly. Let's remove this thing. Maybe over here I can just say dimmed. What do you think? So basically it is about me. I'm an autonomous agent designed to help you by leveraging the set of powerful tools. So it can does this, web operations, how I work, blah blah blah, all these things. Now let's again do this thing, but this time we'll use something else. We'll use a smarter model. Hey, now this looks crazy. Let's use a smarter model. Maybe Opus 4 points, this thing, right? So over here, what I'll do, I'll ask it to, I'll say, hey agent, can you create a summary for me, summary of this project that I'm working on in a read. Oh no. Can you create a summary of this that I'm working on? That's it. And I want to pass model as this. Now let's see how it goes. I hope so. It's okay. I think it's working. Okay, amazing. This is coming twice. See how this is showing. This is that's why I use the limits on 100 words, because it is going to read this thing. So this result will be sent back to the Claude, right? So let's see what the result is. I'm thinking is coming twice because I already implemented it on the bottom. So these are the tools that my current project is. Now here's the thing, very important thing. How did Claude have the access to my things? Doesn't it bother you? Like, I am just sending a request from here and it has access to my things. I'll tell you why. So these are the files it's reading. So that's why I omitted the dot env files and dot files, right? Because you guys can see my key. So yeah, so these are the files that it read, and these files that it read is going to be sent to the Claude. Okay, so while developing these agent kind of things, you have to be make sure that you are not messing up with all those things. So here is a comprehensive summary of your project overview, this blah blah blah, a core agentic loop, available tools, CLI usage, request sir Tokyo. It's probably it have taken it from the toml file, and it should have created a file as well. No, oh my god. I should have told him to create a file. That's how. So the recursive directory is working. Traversing is working. So I need to check the that thing. What I was going to say, create file thing, right? First of all, I need to make sure that I don't see this I'm thinking kind of thing twice. So let's remove it from the bottom. Let's go here and let's do cargo run a verbose a smarter model opus. And instead I'll just ask him to do one thing so that I can test all my operations, right? I can just ask him, hey, can you please look for all the uh, holidays in India of for year 2023 and create an Excel sheet which I can open on my Mac. So I'm just asking this agent that I created that, okay, please look for all the holidays in the in India for the year 2023 and create an Excel sheet which I can open on my Mac. So let's see how it goes. So it's thinking, it should be sending me some results. So see the tool, it says run command because it has to create a file, or maybe it has to install this open. Oh damn. Error sending request for API Anthropic. Okay, now this thing is the good thing is two commands ran. One is about it is trying to install a software so that it can create an Excel or something. The second thing is fetch URL. So it fetched something from the over here. So maybe I should not ask these kind of things like to create something, because it is going to run some I don't know what it's running, a kind of install script. Let's not do this. Let's say can you please instead of create an Excel sheet, maybe I can just say can you go India for the 23 and send me a pretty JSON in a .md file. So now I should have a .md file, should be creating a .md file over here. So let's see how it goes. Okay, so it created a JSON, I think, and it will create a .md file for me now, I guess. So it called a tool write file. So it's figured out the list of holidays on 2023, created a JSON, and this created a .md file, this entire thing. Now let's see, do we have a .md file? Yes sir, we have India holiday 2023.md. So now let's open this thing. Cool. Our agent is working. And on the 14th of January, we have Makar Sankranti, Pongal. So yeah, that's pretty much of it. I'll push the code on GitHub and add the link on the description. You guys can check that out. Play with it. Make sure you just kind of maybe improve the security over here as well. I try to do my best over here. I try to put a safety net on the loops. and I try to just pull out those heavy risky commands like rmrf and all. Maybe you guys can alter it more. Yeah, that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you do, make sure you like this video, share it with your friends, and keep me in touch, right? Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon. I'll see you next time. Bye bye guys. Okay, this pad is not working.